Where did you get these questions from? From
the Bible, the scrolls. From the scrolls.
Don't tell me about the scrolls. I wrote the scrolls.
Can we go back to the other question?
Yes. All right, we are so excited. It's Rachelle and Carter with 89.3 KSBJ, and we are here with Jacob, who plays the character Daniel in Daniel with Sight and Sound live production. And first of all, we are so pumped that you are with us. You doing okay?
I am, yeah. Thanks for having me.
We do something called a Generations game weekly. And by the way, I do want to say, if you want a chance to see this production live in theaters, text the word sound to the number 893-893. But we do something called a Generations game. And today it's very special. We're going to do a Bible, Old Testament, New Testament Generations game. So you will represent the Old Testament, Jacob, as Daniel is in the Old Testament.
That makes sense.
We are joined by a very special guest, somebody from the New Testament. Who are you?
I am John.
John. Okay.
I am John, and I am curious as to why he still goes by Jacob if he has been donned his robe. Is he not the father of our nation?
You know, that's a great question.
He's a false prophet.
I'm playing Daniel currently, so we can leave Jacob out of
You're
this.
playing Daniel.
He's playing. You don't know how productions work yet, I think maybe.
I don't understand.
I will say, Jacob, for real, just between you and me, I think there's kind of a tryout going on. So just
that's
a tryout.
That's how it works.
A tryout?
FYI. If
that is a part of it. I think you're doing wonderful.
Well, I appreciate it, Israel. I do. And I don't know how much trying out I have to do. I think I've accomplished enough in writing one of the Gospels for
All
you
right.
people.
You would think. Yeah, it's a hard career, though.
And then it was the first time that I wrote a letter, and the second time I wrote a letter, and then the third time they needed another letter.
Why don't you cool it? Okay. All right. So we have these questions, and we're going to start with you, Jacob, representing the Old Testament generation. You will now have to answer New Testament questions. So
will I be able to try to answer this question? I was there for crying out loud.
Yeah. You're not allowed to answer the New Testament.
Why am I starting to have a British accent? I'm sorry.
She's a method actor. I mean, he's a method actor.
I will start to try.
All right. So name one disciple besides Peter, James, and John. Just one disciple.
Andrew.
Perfect. Yes. That is one of the many, as you knew them all.
Yes. He was the brother of Peter, and you couldn't get him to shut up.
Yeah, that's how I remember him.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the Old Testament question, which you should be versed in the scripture.
Well, when I was a young boy, I had to learn all of the things.
In the scrolls, yes. Okay.
All the things.
All of the things. Yes.
How old was Noah when the flood covered the earth?
Well, how old was Noah? I do believe he was just over a century. Was he 120?
Representing Daniel, Jacob, do you have a guess?
Yeah, 120 is, I think, oh my goodness.
I think maybe it was more like 500. Was it 500?
I think 120 was Moses for when
600.
he did something.
Well, I told you, I was New Testament.
For Noah, I think he was I thought he was like in his 80s.
Well,
We had some get close. The answer is 600.
I did.
You said 500.
But then I said 600.
I did not hear
You
that.
win.
I do not lie. It is in Torah.
No, you are infallible. You are not infallible. You are an apostle. You've made mistakes.
It was almost heretical.
I know. Yeah.
Excuse me. I
All
seem to have forgotten to shave.
Okay. So, Jacob, next question for you.
Okay.
At the very beginning of 1 Thessalonians, there are three men addressing the people. The names listed are Paul, Timothy, and what other man? If you can name him, you get the point. If you name his Greek name that's listed there, you get a bonus point.
Paul, Timothy. I have no idea, so I'm going to say Silas.
Silas is the correct answer. Yes, it is. And I think John fell asleep. Can you name his Greek name that is listed right there in modern translations?
Not even remotely.
All right, John, go ahead. Can you name Silas's Greek name?
What?
We're going to move on to the next question. Okay. It is 2. Jacob is 2. Old Testament is 2. New Testament is 0. But here's your second question. Moses came up with the name Joshua for Joshua.
Yes.
What is his original name?
This is Yeshua. It is
No, I think that's the translation of Joshua, but it was a different name.
Uzzias.
Uzzias?
Yes. He was Bar Uzzias.
Old Testament.
If you say it with gumption, it's believable.
Uzzias.
Any guesses on the
remember
Old
him.
Testament side of things?
I'm going to be so honest. I didn't even know that was a fact. I thought he was always Joshua.
I didn't either.
This is the
until
problem.
I scoured numbers and found this
Whoa.
for this game.
This is very, very, very in-depth research that you've done. This is way more. When we do this game, I've heard in the past, it's merely pop culture.
Okay. Hosea, if I'm pronouncing that
Wait,
right. There's an H.
Excuse me.
H-O-S-H-E-A.
There are many prononciations of Yeshua, and that is one of them.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, give it to me.
Put your hood back on.
You are seeing what the sun has done to my hair from the island of Patmos. There is not much shelter.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next. We'll call it 2-1. Okay, we'll call it 2-1. This is your last question for the Old Testament. Jacob, you answer. Revelation 2 and 3 feature letters.
You better get this right.
Yes, we know you wrote it. We think. Revelation 2 and 3 feature letters from Jesus to different churches. There is one church that is now the name of an American city. What church is now the name of an American city?
Oh, my.
Can you give him multiple choice?
I agree with John. It's really the least you could do.
Let's, okay.
It's an American city.
I'll give you East Coast.
Okay. That didn't help me. Let me see.
Read him a question from the card.
I have no idea. I'm gonna say Bethsaida.
That's actually
Is
I
that-
can
that's
see
just a
that.
place.
There's a Bethsaida somewhere up there, right?
It's
Isn't there?
Lancaster.
I feel like there has to be, but it's probably in California.
It is Philadelphia.
Oh,
Philadelphia.
I'm really embarrassed.
It's
Oh, duh.
The city of brotherly love.
Of brotherly love.
It's all coming back to me.
Yes.
Just 20 miles east of me.
Yes.
Okay. John, last question. You tie. Actually, there's a bonus. There's an opportunity for a bonus point, so you could win.
Well, this is a win for me already. I've been very bored for a while.
Wow. Well, we're so glad that you have something to do now.
Thank you.
All right. There were 3 other sons of Judah listed in Daniel 1:6. I bet Jacob knows this. Name 2 of them. There are 3 other sons of Judah listed with Daniel.
I'm assuming you are talking. Do you want their Hebrew names?
I believe. Yes, they are listed as, I believe, the Hebrew name. Yes, that's
But
true.
I would prefer to know. So
You know Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is
Well,
what you're
there
saying.
you go.
Yes, but no, they're listed as the other names.
Abinadab, not so bad, and Mishka Mushka Mickey Mouse.
Okay, maybe that was no. I'm just gonna say no, but here maybe you'll get this and at least be able to tie. Bonus point for knowing what language and literature they would be taught.
Well, they were in Babylon.
Well, it's listed as something specific that does
is
not
it- is
start
it-
with a B.
It's the Nebuchadnezzarian language.
We'll throw it over to Jacob. Do you know what language and literature that you were being taught?
You know what is really interesting is that there's a big point in our show where I talk about how I know all the languages and the literature, and I have no idea.
Yes, because you. because
But can we go back to the other question?
Yes.
Because I know their names.
Go ahead.
Mishael, Hananiah, and what is the other one? I only do the
Yes.
show 11 times a week.
You only needed 2. You only needed 2.
This is for him. It's going to drive him nuts.
Oh, Azariah.
Azariah, that's right.
Azariah.
Mishael, and Hananiah.
That's what I said.
Kind of. Not really. That's not how it's listed. The language of the Chaldeans, right there in Daniel 1:4, language and literature of the Chaldeans.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the Nebuchadnezzarian province.
I guess really it comes down to one question, and
Where did you get these questions from? From the
Bible, the scrolls.
From
the scrolls.
Don't tell me about the scrolls. I wrote the scrolls.
I guess really the main question, Jacob, is do you think that there is a part available for John in a future production?
Oh.
That's a great question. If I were casting,
Yes.
we'd be doing John the musical.
John the
Yes, and you'd be front and center.
I have a little
So
song
just wait until the day.
that I wouldn't mind coming out with that stars Nicodemus.
Okay.
And he's on a roof. No, just wait for it.
All right.
And Jesus is talking with him.
Yes.
And I call it the 3rd chapter.
Okay. All right.
And that's just
great.
the beginning.
I thought you were going to say Nick at Night is really what I thought you were going to say.
Oh, that's good. Do you have a pen? Does anyone have a...
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you for what you're doing. Incredible showmanship all the way around here and on stage with Daniel, Sight and Sound that you have a chance to go see in theaters. Text the word sound to the number 893-893.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Every time I talk, the fluff is just everywhere.
That was so much fun. Thank
gosh.
you for being a good sport.